do some reviews. Disney feature-length films, short cartoons. We bought VHS tapes, every title we could. Disney is our business, and business is good.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Kevin.
And welcome to Hakuna Matata.
No, it's like...
I'm testing it out, babe.
Okay, all right.
Checking, seeing how it feels.
It's not gonna work. Let's get down to business.
Okay, welcome to Let's Get Down to Business. It is a Disney podcast where I make my husband Kevin watch Disney movies with me and relive my childhood, and then I make you discuss them with me.
Sweet. Yeah. What did we do last week?
Last week we looked at Snow White. That was the first Disney animated feature, and then we also watched a short called Canvasback Duck, which was a Donald Duck short.
Yeah, and it had Pete and boxing.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Oh.
We went over that last week, babe.
No, I felt like we were talking about it with friends, and you were just like, meh.
Yeah, we talked about it with friends. I don't know. I felt I covered it pretty well.
Okay. No, I'm just asking if you liked it.
I did.
All right.
It was Donald Duck, Pete, and boxing.
So how are you, babe? How's it going?
I'm doing all right. Yeah. I was kind of nervous about this because...
This is take 2.
Well, yeah, it's take 2. Don't worry about that. No, like, I was nervous about Pinocchio because, like, going into this, you were talking about how you didn't really like Pinocchio that much. But the last time that you'd seen it, you were like 6 years old. I don't know if I've ever seen Pinocchio.
I don't know if I was 6 years old, but I was definitely a kid last time I saw it. But we'll get to Pinocchio in a minute. So I have we'll have one correction to make already. Episode 2, and I already have one correction to make. So kind of a misheard lyric. I thought they were saying when they were singing Hi Ho, it's off to work we go. And I was like, that's stupid because they're on their way home. No, I just misheard the lyrics. So I looked them up, and it's hi ho, it's home from work we go, which I still think is stupid because it's kind of a Yoda-y way of saying it.
And my opinion is, who gives a shit?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I guess.
First correction already, episode 2.
Super important.
Yeah, super important. You know, just to keep us
mark
factual.
Mark it in your journals.
Yeah, just make sure and then the second thing I wanted to talk about here is, even though we are a Disney podcast and we talk about kids' movies, probably shouldn't listen to this with your kids around.
Yeah, I apologize if that already happened. This is not child friendly, and that is mostly my fault. Kevin
will probably drop a couple GFDs or JFCs, so
yeah. Probably not that often. It's only if I really dislike something. So pick good stuff.
If you're very, very emotional about something. So, if your kids are in the car, maybe put some headphones on them and let them play with a tablet, which they probably already do anyway.
Or if you're super cool, just let them listen to it, and you can be those parents.
Yeah, if you're very progressive parents. So. Alrighty, well, I guess
right into it,
I know. We'll jump we'll get down to business right away. So the short this week, you wanted to name it that, so we're sticking to it.
No, I'm totally cool with it. I was just thinking about it from like a foreplay aspect. We're getting right down to it.
I just wanted to say
we're not teasing you guys. So, ladies, prep to hate this podcast.
Oh, it's the Kevin way.
Whatever.
I know I wanted to say that when we were talking about this the other day with your brother and his wife, they liked Hakuna Matata.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you. Most people are wrong, and they suck.
I'm just saying.
Sean and Ashley, you don't suck, but you're wrong. And that's okay.
I'm just saying, like, if we're keeping score of who's cleverer than the other, Hakuna Matata is pretty fucking clever.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Cool opinion, bro.
Anyway, let's get down to business.
Yeah.
So our short this week was Lambert
the Sheepish Lion.
Made in 1952, voiced by Sterling Holloway. Did that voice sound familiar to you?
Holla. Yeah, I think so. I can't remember from what.
Who was he, babe? Who was he? Do you know who it was?
I don't know.
He was Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, okay.
He's the original Winnie the Pooh.
All right.
Yeah. So he actually was honored as a Disney legend back in 1991. He was the first person to receive the award in the voice category. So he's done a lot of Disney work.
Nice.
So Lambert the Sheepish Lion. What'd you think? Do you want to tell us about it? Tell us what happened.
Yeah, the synopsis is the stork is coming to drop off all of the little lambs to their sheep mothers, and they're all just waiting. He's got the sack, and he drops it off, and he starts dispensing all the little children, and he's got one mother that doesn't have a child, and she's looking really forlorn about it, obviously. And he's only got one child left.
I like how you talk about giving away children as dispensing them.
Well, I mean, that's what it is.
It's just a funny word. Just keep going.
He's literally marking a fucking list.
Okay.
but no. Okay, so he's got one child left, and it's a little lion cub. And he's like, oh, this is obviously a mix-up. And while he's not paying attention, Lambert, the little lion cub, goes to this sheep mother and just like cuddles right up to her, and they kind of hit it up. She's very in need of this.
Yeah,
you can tell she's very depressed.
She didn't get a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Aww.
Yeah.
Poor
so
mom.
they hit it off. The stork comes back and says, "No, you can't have this child. This is a lion. It's going to be vicious, and you're a sheep. This won't work."
All in rhyming form.
Yeah,
this is all rhyming.
He says it much more eloquently than I do, shockingly. And the sheep just headbutts. Yeah, she charges the stork, and he just kind of gives up. So this dude is really bad at his job.
Do sheep headbutt?
If you're what's that?
Do sheep headbutt? I thought it was like a ram thing.
No, she charges him.
Oh, no, I know, but I'm just saying.
I think that is a ram thing. You're the animal person here.
I don't know.
Okay, but anyway, the dude just gives up, and he leaves.
Yeah, he's like,
he leaves
that.
this lion with it's a flock of sheep, correct?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, with this flock of sheep, and doesn't really think anything of it, just flies away. And yeah.
So then Lambert grows up, and there's a song, Lambert. This is how it goes. And they sing, and it's a really annoying song, I think.
It's pretty obnoxious.
Because it goes on for so long.
The animal effects throughout the entire thing for the sheep and the lambs are incredibly obnoxious.
I did have this huge nitpick when he purrs, because lions don't purr.
Oh, man.
No, big cats. I know this because I did a 25-page report in 5th grade about big cats, where I went through every single species of big cat. So big cats, they don't purr.
Why would you tell people that? I feel like you should just kind of keep that secret, because the amount of cred that you're gonna get from outing this fact is not gonna make up for what you're losing.
Kevin, Lion King played a big role in my life.
Yeah,
it changed me.
Okay.
I was never the same.
Okay.
But speaking of Lion King, I felt that there was a lot of Lion King-esque imagery in this. You always hear about Disney recycling animation and ideas, and I kind of felt like there was a point where the lion stood on the edge of this rock that looked like Pride Rock. So there's a lot of things that I thought were very similar. Overall, I thought the idea was really cute and I liked it. I just hated that stupid song because it went on for so long, and it was kind of montage with that song of things happening.
Yeah.
It was an obnoxious song.
Yeah, I like the beginning a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker and a sap for parenting stories and things like that. So when you see the mother,
which is hilarious because you don't want kids.
Well, I know, but I mean, I like seeing that kind of symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
And the differing worlds and things like that, and stuff working out. But I think the problem I have, and I'm probably gonna have this problem with a lot of shorts, is everything is very fast.
Yeah.
And that's just inherent in the style and the limitations of a short.
And this was kind of a long short too. I think it was around 8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, for a short. You know.
And what ends up happening in the short is that he grows up. He gets bullied pretty much throughout his entire adolescence by the other sheep, because he's different, obviously, and he can't do the things that they can. But when he gets older, obviously he grows much larger than any of the rest of them, and there comes a point when there's a wolf that comes to attack them and try and eat his mother, and he has to kind of get over being a bitch ass, I guess, for lack of a better term.
They described him as yellow.
Yellow, yes, yeah. And he has to defend his mom and scare off this wolf, which he ends up doing eventually, and. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I mean, as far as shorts go, it was cute.
Yeah. Like I said, I like the beginning a lot.
We have a lot of shorts to go through, so, I mean, we've watched 2 already, so it's in my top 2.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think it's as good as Canvasback Duck, but it's...
Really?
Yeah, I like Canvasback Duck.
It was okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was great, but I didn't think this was great either.
I'm like excited to get into some of the goofy shorts, like the how-tos, like there was that one how to hook up your electronics or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I love that one.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's like 1,000 shorts, we'll get there eventually. So, all right, babe.
What's up,
babe?
What?
You want to get down to business? Excuse me. Let's get down to business.
I kind of feel like that's what we're here for. Okay.
So Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I had not seen this since I was a kid. It was another VHS that my mom had bought me. I haven't seen it in a while, and I wasn't looking forward to watching it again. I think I was really into Disney princesses, so for Pinocchio, not that it was a boys' movie, but it wasn't like the Disney princess repertoire.
Yeah, like even though it's not a princess thing, like you wouldn't be excited for it just because it's a classic, though. Like I feel like
as a kid, I don't think I cared about that.
Really?
Like I was like,
It's
it's
so
a Disney
iconic.
movie. Yeah, but also when you're a kid, you have shitty taste in movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like now that I watch it as an adult, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have gleaned from it. I think. Yeah. So. Anyway.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think there's some stuff that we inferred that probably isn't there, but we'll get into that.
So it is a Golden Age movie. The Golden Age is back when they had all these big hits in the beginning. Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo. Dumbo is another one I don't want to watch.
We'll get there.
But yeah, so it was created in 1940. It was 88 minutes long. It was supposed to come out after... I believe Bambi, but they couldn't get the animation of the animals just right for Bambi yet, so they decided to move Pinocchio up. So
just probably a good decision.
Yeah, I
you don't want to rush stuff like that.
To follow up Snow White, I think it was a really good idea.
Yeah.
So Pinocchio, just like Snow White, comes from a childhood story or a storybook adapted from an Italian children's novel. And I was looking up what it was about, and then they changed it a lot, just like they changed some of the more gruesome parts of Snow White.
Yeah.
The original Pinocchio, it says here, is a cold, rude, ungrateful, inhuman creature that often repels sympathy and only learns his lessons by means of brutal torture.
So he's essentially the doll in
He's
Child's
like a
Play.
sadomasochist or something. Yeah, so they actually went with the original Pinocchio and they just couldn't get it right. Like, I mean, I don't know how you adapt that into a kid's movie. But yeah,
they did it.
They did it. Originally, he's stabbed by assassins and hanged in the book. And Jiminy Cricket, who doesn't have a name, he's just the Cricket, dies because Pinocchio throws a hammer at him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so...
I want that movie.
Yeah, we want the original. Well, wasn't there a horror movie, Pinocchio?
Yeah, Pinocchio's Revenge or whatever. It was a B horror movie from like the 90s, I think.
Oh my god,
it's pretty terrible.
I was gonna say I wish I would have seen that, but I really don't. I really don't. So Pinocchio is one of the few movies on Rotten Tomatoes. I know you hate Rotten Tomatoes, but I bring it up.
I don't hate Rotten Tomatoes. I hate how people use it.
True.
It's an aggregate. Like it's 100% positive reviews. It doesn't mean it's the greatest movie of all time. It just means 100% of the people that have reviewed it positively. Just see it through that lens, and it's fine.
Now, 100% of the people who have reviewed it, like it has 100%. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is a really big deal because you're taking all these people and they all say they like it.
Exactly, and that's my point. That's the same thing with like the Shawshank Redemption. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but if you talk to almost anyone, somebody will say, "Oh, that's a really good movie." That's
Kevin.
What's up?
I haven't seen Shawshank.
You're a jackass.
Shawshank.
Sounds like somebody needs a fucking trip back from Pleasure Island.
All right.
Foreshadowing, bros.
With that, Pinocchio.
Skill.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, I'll do it. I'll do it. So
I'm here for moral support.
You are my moral support. Thank you, baby. So it starts off with the classic song "Wish Upon a Star." We've heard it throughout other the Disney parks, Disney movies, Disney advertisements, and it's narrated by Jiminy Cricket. And when you see Jiminy Cricket, he doesn't look like a cricket.
Not really.
Here's my animal nitpicks again.
Yeah,
I know.
I guess.
Who
the fuck wants to see like an anthropomorphic, cricket?
Walt Disney didn't. Because they originally took that drawing of him as a cricket
Yeah.
to Walt Disney, and he was like, "Oh God, no,
this is disgusting."
Yeah. So it took him
Walt Disney deep voice.
This movie went through a lot of different renditions. Like they went through.
I could see that.
Of,
yeah, just based upon the novel.
Yeah, trying to get the right look for Pinocchio, trying to get the right look for Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, it went through a lot of different versions. So we end up in Geppetto's workshop, which I absolutely love.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, the clocks, the toys, the way it's animated, they all have these like herky-jerky movements that are just so realistic.
Even the shot of the city when you're actually coming into it before we even see Geppetto's workshop is awesome. They just do this. It's kind of like a winding shot of the city before you come into the window.
I mean, it's 1940, and they're doing some really amazing things that haven't been done before, so it's pretty awesome. So we meet Geppetto, we meet Figaro, who's possibly the most adorable cat I've ever...
Which you said Walt Disney, that's like his favorite character, right?
That's his favorite character,
Yeah, he's super cute.
He's adorable. Oh, you think he's cute.
So not a monster.
We have the song, so there's songs in this one they're singing. I didn't think they were as obnoxious as Snow White.
Not really. No. I still don't really get into a lot of the songs, but that's a me thing.
Yeah.
More than anything
well, you're
else.
not really a musical person, I would say.
I don't think that's fair, but for the most part, I'm not big on musical numbers.
Yeah. So the first one is Little Wooden Head, and I remember that song because I had, you could buy these VHS called Disney Sing-Alongs, and that was one of the songs on the tape that I had. So I remember that song. It's fucking charming. It's adorable. I absolutely love it. Like Geppetto, like I have a thing for like dad-kid relationships. Like I'm such a daddy's girl and I love my dad. So whenever I see like a dad and his kid, I'm just like, oh, I love it so much. So we have Little Wooden Head. He has this puppet, Pinocchio, and when he goes to bed at night, he sees a wishing star and he wishes that, I don't know, he could have a son. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Oh, Pinocchio, why can't you be a real boy?
He's so adorable. He's an adorable old man. So the Blue Fairy comes, and they did a really good job with her transparency, the way that you can kind of see through her.
And also, keeping with the tradition of the first film, she's looking good. She's looking
And keeping with the tradition of the first film as well. She's probably rotoscoped, so let's be real here. I take that back. Not transparent. What's the word?
Translucent. Yeah, there you go.
Translucent.
Don't try and beat me to it.
So she comes down and she heard his wish and she turns Pinocchio into not
a real boy.
He's not a real boy yet. He's like a
But he's got to work to it.
puppet
we
boy
learned that.
hybrid. Yeah, she's like, you gotta be a good kid.
You gotta be
and
honest.
We hear about letting your conscience be your guide, and conscience is kind of this whole theme throughout this movie. So then Jiminy Cricket comes out and he and Pinocchio are buds and they have another song.
Yeah, they do.
Do you remember what the song is?
Nope.
Let's Give a Little Whistle. Which I have a lot in common with Pinocchio because I can't whistle. So I was like, I feel you, Pinocchio. Yeah. What I love is when he sees fire.
Yeah.
And he's like playing with the
he's
fire.
like playing with the fire. No big deal.
And he puts it out in like the fish bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor, we forgot about the fish. She's so cute. She's cute too. Everyone's cute. And I love also, even back in 1940, when he's asking Geppetto like a million questions, and he's like, why? Mm-hmm. Why? Like, it's such a...
Well, it's not like that's something that's new.
No.
Kids have always been like that.
Always been
they just used to get hit back in the day.
Yeah, shut up. Stop asking why. So yeah, I thought they did a really good job of establishing him as a little boy. Like he's very boy-esque.
Yep.
He's cute. That's the word of the day, cute. So then, they go to bed and they have another tracking panning shot through the city, which was a big deal. Their machine, I think, either broke or nearly broke over it. It's panning not only through the city, but you also have animated people and animated birds, and there's all these layers going through it.
It looks great.
It's fantastic. Guys, just watch Pinocchio.
Well, no, you gotta wait. You can't recommend it yet, okay?
Okay.
Descriptions.
Okay. And then Kevin's favorite character comes in.
My boy.
Honest
John.
And Gideon.
Yeah.
And he promises theater and fame.
Like, imagine Jason Bateman's character from Zootopia, but ratcheted like 100 times shittier and sneakier, and that is Honest John.
Yeah, they're both foxes.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, archetypes,
Look at you.
baby.
Those poor foxes always getting a bad rap.
No, they deserve it.
I did think it was weird. Like, we have an anthropomorphic cat, and we also have pet cats in the same universe.
It's pretty sweet.
It's weird. I don't know. I wrote down snitching. I don't know why I wrote down snitching. Was there a snitching thing going on there? Maybe with, what's his name? Jiminy Cricket?
Yeah.
He wanted to...
They get stitches, man.
Yeah, they get stitches.
Why can't get stitches? I'm wooden.
So, Honest John and Gideon, Gideon doesn't talk. He's just kind of a goon.
He's a moron.
He's adorable. He's cute. So Honest John is promising Pinocchio that he can be an actor in the life of
you don't need school.
You don't need school.
Because that's where Pinocchio's on his way to. He's got his apple and his book, and Geppetto's sending him off to school to learn and be a real boy.
Yeah, it's going to be a real kid, but instead he gets drawn into, Hollywood and fame. So Honest John takes him to...
Stromboli!
Stromboli.
He's a gypsy, guys.
Is he? I don't know what
I think he is. He's supposed to be a gypsy.
He's supposed to be a gypsy, but he's one racist Italian fucking stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's pretty bad.
I think it gets worse as far as racism in Disney movies go, but I was pretty shocked, like, wow, that's a really crazy stereotype they have of Italians. He was originally in the book named... Oh my gosh, I'm going to forget it now. He had a different name in the book.
Yeah.
So they had to decide to name him Stromboli.
something more stereotypical and easier on the palate.
Ravioli was taken. Like, what the fuck?
Maybe. Or
Boyardee. So he's basically a racist, angry Italian gypsy who yells in gibberish when he's mad. We have the puppet theater. We have the famous song, I've Got No Strings. Which
that is great.
Yeah, I love that song. So Pinocchio's dancing. He gets tripped up a little bit, and that's what makes Stromboli blah, 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 whatever he does. There's a line in the movie where he said, was it Honest John or Stromboli? Because Pinocchio's like, I'm trying to get a conscience. And they're like, what does an actor want with a conscience anyway?
Yeah, there are a lot of moments like that in this movie where it's really, really clever comedy. And, obviously, people have always been clever, but just to see something that old in a kid's movie, it's pretty
zingers.
Cool. Yeah,
some zingers.
It's pretty good.
So I think Pinocchio tries to leave and Stromboli cages him.
Yes.
This movie was also known for some effects, some of which are the rain and lightning. And then we have that kind of, I'm trying to think of like a word for it. Pinnacle? I don't know.
What?
It's like what people talk about, like when you lie, your nose grows. Mm-hmm. What is that called? I don't know. Like when people tell like someone they're lying, they're like, "Oh, your nose is growing."
It's like an old wives' tale.
Yeah. So it comes from
a lie.
A lie. It comes from Pinocchio, and I feel like for as much as you always hear about like your nose growing when you lie, it only happens in one scene. And it's very short.
When we were going back into this, that it was more of a central point of the movie.
Yeah.
So when it was just that one scene. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like the fairy comes back, she tells him that lying isn't right. It's going to make you into a.
She was like, "Why didn't you go to school?" And he was like, "There was a monster." Yeah. I was whatever his stupid lie was.
And she kind of scolds him for it, and then
he keeps lying.
Yeah, she opens the cage, and he gets out, and his nose is restored, and everything. But yeah, that was just the one time that happens.
Yeah, so for being such
prominent. It's very prominent in the Pinocchio lore. It's just that one time.
Well, and it's something that I think is so prevalent in not pop culture, but just in society. Mm-hmm. To come from that one part of the movie is pretty crazy. So they get out of that cage. They leave Stromboli's carriage. We pass by the Red Lobster Inn. Product placement. No, not really. And then we have Honest John hanging out with your other boy.
Oh my god.
The coachman.
This is where it gets dark, you guys. Maybe not as dark as it's supposed to be, but...
This is where I was like, holy shit. So the coachman is gathering up stupid little boys.
Well, let me set the scene for you guys, first of all, yeah. Like, they're inside the Red Lobster Inn, and... It's dark. There's candlelight, so you can't really see the full faces of, like, the coachman. And he's talking to Honest John. about, like Stephanie said, what his proposition is for him, because Honest John's talking about how much money they just made from Stromboli, and he says, oh, well, you can make so much more. And he says, if you can help me out with this, because I can't remember if he actually comes out and says it or like whispers it to Honest John, but he throws this big sack of like gold coins on the table to show him like this is a big deal.
I don't think he was whispering. There's nothing subtle about this.
Yeah, but what happens is he's making the pitch to Honest John, and I'm thinking, like,
this is creepy.
No, not like my jaw seriously dropped when this scene was going on, because when he's talking about, he wants like bad little boys. they are going to take them to Pleasure Island, and they will never be little boys again. Like think about that for something, like just for a second. And I thought, oh my God, the coachman is a pedophile.
No, so when he said Pleasure Island, they'll never come back as boys, you looked at me and the look on your face,
it was just holy
your
fuck.
mouth was wide open and I was just laughing. Yeah, what a weird, like...
It was, I get it. I get where you're going.
It's 1940.
But holy shit.
What's funny is it wasn't even called Pleasure Island in the book. So they had to go through, again, like they did with Stromboli, like, what should we name it?
This is a good idea.
How about Pleasure
these bad
Island?
little boys are going to Pleasure. They're going to get kidnapped and go to fucking Pleasure Island to never be little boys again.
All I could think about was that
their innocence will be gone.
Yeah. All I could think about was that scene in Anchorman when she's like, take me to Pleasure Island or Pleasure Town or whatever. I was like, oh, it's such a bad name for an island to send boys. But there he meets his friend Lampley.
Yes, he does.
Weird fucking name.
Mr. Cigar Smoker himself.
So they go to Pleasure Island so they can have dill pickles and ice cream.
They can go to the Rough House and Tobacco Row.
There's the model homes for destruction.
Being bad's a lot of fun.
And then we see them, Lampley and Pinocchio, smoking, playing pool, which I didn't know was something bad kids do. Yeah. They're drinking. Jiminy Cricket's calling them young hoodlums. He's going to knock their block off. And they say jackass quite a few times, which I have to remember, again, 1940. Yep. But I do think, we live in a really conservative area, and I think the moral of this movie versus the word use of jackass. Like, would people let their kids
and also
watch
with this,
or?
it's foreshadowing.
Yes, it is. But I mean, nowadays, like, little kids are like, oh, you said ass. Like, they wouldn't even take in the context. Yeah. Like, nobody uses jackass as a word for donkey anymore. So.
Get an education, motherfuckers.
So, yeah, jackass, donkeys. Yeah. So basically, when he says they'll never come back as boys, what he means is they're going to be turned into donkeys because they're being such jackasses at this island. So... what's really creepy to me, so the ones that get turned into donkeys get sent to salt mine and circuses, but then there's talking donkeys.
The ones that like talk and are like aware. Yeah, they like they pen them off and they're like whipping them and stuff.
And you can see these donkeys that are crying like, I want to go home. Like, oh my God, that's dark. Yeah. That's deep, Disney.
And somebody, I think I was reading a review for this somewhere else, just kind of researching a little bit for this, and somebody was trying to make the case that the coachman is not necessarily a sympathetic character, but that his actions aren't really all that bad because these are because these are bad boys, and these bad boys are kind of getting what they deserve. And what I have to say to that is you're a fucking idiot, dude, because he's still selling them into slave labor, even if that's the case. Like there's nothing, even if the coachman is not a pedophile, this dude is not a good character, like a good person at all. He is a total villain.
Yeah, I think out of all the villains, he's probably the most nefarious.
He's very bad. Very bad.
Oof. All right, so they escape. Well, Lampley gets turned into a donkey, and then Pinocchio and Geppetto, Jiminy Cricket escape.
And he's a half-transformed Pinocchio. Yeah, he's got the gigantic ears, he's got the tail, and he can't control himself with the hee-haw.
So they run home, and they find out Geppetto's gone, and then, is it a Deus Machina if that note comes out of nowhere that It was very convenient.
It felt really jarring.
It was very convenient. Like,
yeah.
suddenly a bird flies down with a note, and it says, Geppetto has gone away. He was swallowed by a whale at the bottom of the ocean.
I know that it's odd to say that...
it's a kid's movie.
No, I mean, that it's like it's a weird tonal shift in a movie about a wooden boy coming to life. But yeah, it was very, very jarring.
Yeah, it was just... not that it came out of nowhere. It was just, like I said, very, very convenient, I would say. So Pinocchio has to go to the bottom of the ocean. He ties a rock to his tail. He sinks down to the bottom.
And he doesn't die, because he's still not a real boy.
Yeah, and apparently Jiminy Cricket can also be underwater and not die. There is not a first, but kind of a big animation effect, I would say, with the lights and shadows under the water. That was kind of a new thing as well that they pulled off. I really liked the weight that they showed underwater with him, kind of the stretch and pull of the animation, because you can tell he's weighted down by the rock, and I think it comes off very well. Yeah. Then there's Monstro the whale, and he's just chilling.
Just hanging out,
on the ocean floor.
Inhaling some fish and BD.
Yeah. And Pinocchio is swallowed, reunited with Geppetto. I'm going to kind of go through this really fast here. They start a fire inside of the whale with their
it's Pinocchio's idea to get him to sneeze.
Yeah,
so they can escape.
There's some cool smoke effects for 1940. He sneezes, they get out, it capsizes, Pinocchio saves Geppetto, but Pinocchio drowns. Wah wah.
That is not a wah wah. What is wrong with you?
I'm just rushing through this, babe.
Oh my God.
I got a lot of bullet points.
It's drama.
A lot of bullet points. So Pinocchio, it seems like he drowns. Geppetto takes him home, lays him on the bed, just crying. And the blue fairy comes around, and she has decided that Pinocchio was very brave and selfless.
Selfish. He's very selfish, dying.
That fucking Pinocchio. Trying to get all the attention with death. No, he was brave, true, and selfless, so she makes him into a real boy. And there's a point where he's like, Papa, why are you crying? He goes, you are dead, Pinocchio. And that just made me laugh. But no, he's alive. And then they all celebrate. Jiminy gets an official conscience. It's 18 karat gold. So not good on him. And then it just ends. Yeah. It just has this abrupt, it's done. Yeah. So, yeah.
What did you think, babe? What are your overall impressions of Pinocchio?
For going into it being I don't want to watch this movie, it's going to be a chore, I loved it. It was so fucking charming and endearing, and I definitely didn't appreciate it as a child, but now that I watch it, I can see why it's so revered, and I would even be, I would venture out there and say it's one of, if not the best Disney movie.
Yeah.
No hyperbole, but it's really fucking good.
We talked to our friend Chris when we went to get something to eat, and he asked us what movie we were going to be on, and when we said Pinocchio, he's like, oh, yeah, is it right what they say, that it's the best?
And we were trying
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know it was that highly regarded.
Not to talk about it, because we were trying to save it, and I didn't want to look at your reaction, but in my head I was like, oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, my reaction was this. It's fucking amazing. It was an excellent movie. I think it's going to be tough for anything going forward, at least for a little while, for the early movies especially, to top this. I think when you're comparing it to Snow White, that was released in December of 1937, I think. This is February of 1940, so that's 2 years, essentially. And just the strides that they made, the growth with the animation. I felt one of the biggest problems with Snow White was it felt very impersonal.
It's flat.
Yeah, I think it's very flat. Pinocchio, even down to, like I said, the witty jokes, one-liners, even somebody like Honest John, somebody as shitty as the coachman, Geppetto being such a sympathetic figure as a lonely, talented toy maker. And he wants to be a father, seeing just the babe in the woods type of thing from Pinocchio, and even Jiminy.
Babe in the woods.
Yeah, he's so vacant and a blank canvas.
I've never heard that phrase before.
Yeah. It's seriously, guys, it is excellent, and I honestly think this is going to be the best one that we watch. I think for a while.
I think. with Snow White, there was no growth. There was no development. Like, everyone was flat. There was no character development.
Yeah.
It just was... It was a storybook. It was just... I don't know. It was really shallow. There wasn't much substance to it. But watching Pinocchio, like, you have a character arc. You have growth. And like you said, it's witty. It's, you know,
there's so much
layers to it.
It's funny. Like, even for somebody like me, like, it can almost make you cry. Just when you get to the end and stuff
and
like that.
And I do feel like it's something that I would watch with a kid and then also be able to enjoy it as an adult.
Definitely.
A lot of the newer Disney movies, I feel, or Pixar movies, I would say, are that way. And it has a good moral to it. And I don't know, it's just, it's fantastic.
It really is.
It really was.
Yeah, it was... So. Like, like I went into it with very low expectations, just based upon what you had thought from when you were a kid. Like I said, I didn't have a point of reference.
Yeah,
I knew just the any of the stock Pinocchio stuff that anybody would know, but I didn't recall the movie really at all. So to see this and to actually enjoy it as much as I did, I was really surprised. It was a pleasant surprise.
Now, it didn't actually do that well on its initial release. I think, you know, is the war starting by 1940? Or?
America wasn't in the war.
Not yet.
Yeah, World War II started, I believe, in 1937 or 38, but America didn't get into it until 1941.
We're going to start getting into what's called the war era movies here.
Yep, very
But
soon.
no, I think Gone with the Wind was still going around at that point, because movies went around forever. It's not like these days where they're in the theater for 2 months and then they're on a DVD.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it didn't do well on its first theatrical release, but on subsequent theatrical releases and home release, it did so well. So, I mean, it's a classic. It definitely is. It's one of the best, if not the best, that I've seen.
So far for me, like I said, and not having that attachment to a lot of the early 90s stuff like a lot of people do. I've seen Aladdin and The Lion King, but I don't have that attachment. This is the best Disney movie that I've seen.
I mean, we've seen, and we go see all the new releases, so.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that's excellent. Like, even context aside, it is an excellent movie.
Yeah. Cool.
What do we got coming up next week, baby?
I think that took care of business.
I think so. I don't know. That's for the people to decide.
So, next episode 3, we have a Goofy short, so I'm excited about that. It's called Father's Lion.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I don't know what that could be about. And then we have Fantasia.
Yeah, I've never seen Fantasia.
It's awful.
I think I've seen the Brooms thing. Is that from Fantasia?
Yeah, that's like the big thing.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to all these...
we'll save your disgust
anthologies
for next week.
Yeah,
we'll let the people hear.
I'll have a lot of time to think about many different ways of telling you how much I hate these conglomerate movies of shorts. So we'll get there. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. We appreciate that. I feel like podcasts always say subscribe, rate, and review. So if you want to do that and tell all your friends, that's pretty cool. But that wraps up our business today.
Yeah, I think so. So what? I mean, how should we end this?
I don't know. How should we end it, babe?
Because Disney is our business. And business is good.
Oh my God, you're a dork. Bye, guys.